Oh, sorry. So, ladies, before I start with Cliff, I do see Debbie is with us, and you will see Debbie is all in dark because in South Africa the load shedding is we have a lot of load shedding. We have now three times a day. So it means in total about 8 hours we don't have power. So if I can just ask Debbie quickly to tell us what she's up to, and then Debbie, just hold on because this thing is telling me what shall I call you. Just hold on for me. Nothing. I don't want you to answer me now. I'm so sorry, ladies. I was holding on to it for in case somebody phones. So, was I now? Debbie, are you gone? Okay. So, Cliff, if Debbie comes up again, can I just have 2 minutes of your time so that she can quickly tell us what she's going to do? They're going to march, and she would love to just relate it to the ladies, and um, then we can go on. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. And I forgot to tell you too, Sanette, like, because I told you I had to take off some work today to be here. So when I finish my presentation, I'm going to have to go because I got to get back to work.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Thank you so much for being here. So, my beautiful ladies, I met Cliff 3 weeks ago. I was the I was the session leader, and 2 weeks prior to that, Cliff was bombarded to say, "You will come and do your 10-minute speech," and I saw this on his face. And I felt so sorry for him. And I thought, well, he said yes because she was like, you have to. And he said yes. And I thought, I feel so sorry for poor Cliff. I'm going to volunteer to be the session leader. So I'm going to put my hat on and I'm going to dance and let everybody be happy. And that will also help him take his nerves off. So I have phoned him. I said to him, can we have a meeting? And he said, yes. And we had a wonderful discussion. And can I tell you, ladies, Cliff session was so beautiful. He had blown everybody's mind. Dar was there. Dar said everybody was. And guess what? That same night, my male celebrity canceled. So guess what I did? I messaged him and I said, please, can you come and do your beautiful presentation for us? And he said yes. And you know when he said yes, what I did? I was dancing. Cliff, your presentation was heartfelt. Your presentation gave me goosebumps. I am giving it all over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I'm very blessed, very happy to be here. And a little something she didn't tell you about that is that was my very first day in Speakers Speak Live. And they asked me to do my speech. And I told them, I go, yep, I'll do it. I have no idea what it's going to be about because I hadn't written a speech yet. I'm very new to this. And I said, I'll do it though. I'll take that chance and jump right in. And I did. And it turned out very well. And I'm very thankful for Sanette to take on the role that she did that day and encourage me and inspire me. And it's led to this. So I'm very, very happy, very, very blessed to be here today. And what I want to talk to you about is a speech that I wrote just for that, which is called Jump. That was January 19th, 1994. It was a beautiful day in the Arizona desert. I was halfway between Phoenix and Tucson, 10,000 feet up in the air, about to jump from a perfectly good airplane. I could feel the rumble of the twin prop engines, the sound of the wind as it blew past the wide open door of the airplane that I'm now crouched down in front of. It was almost deafening as I looked down at the ground, about to go skydiving for my 21st birthday. I hear the instructor yell, Okay, 1, 2, 3. And I jumped. Now, I had all sorts of things running through my mind before I jumped out of that plane. Why am I doing this? Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? Did I leave the coffee pot on? Would my parachute open? And would I land on my feet? When is the last time that you jumped? When you stepped out from the safety and security of your life, stood on the edge of a dream or a goal, and jumped without even knowing if you would succeed, without knowing if your parachute would open or if you would land on your feet. I believe we all have a gift, but very few of us are willing to take that step to find out if that gift will open up like a parachute and carry us eventually safely to our dream. And you will never experience the excitement, the joy that comes from chasing a dream, achieving a goal, or following your passion if you're always standing on the edge, too scared to jump. Now, I remember one of the times that I heard one of Steve Harvey's little speeches, which also inspired me writing this speech, called Jump. If you've never heard that speech, in that speech, he talks about how every successful person has had to jump from the cliffs of life, despite the possibility of failing and being torn up by the jagged rocks down below. And only after they jumped did their parachute finally open and eventually carry them to their dreams. Now, as I listened to this speech, I felt excitement, hope, motivation. I saw possibilities, but I also felt hesitation, fear, doubt, and disappointment. I realized I'd been standing on the edge of my dream for a long, long time, too afraid of those jagged rocks down below. And I began to wonder, would I ever jump? And I'd felt for a long time that I had a gift, something I was meant to do, something I was being called to do. But like I said, I was too afraid to fail. I was too afraid of those jagged rocks down below. And they held me back. My own thoughts and my own limiting beliefs held me back for a long, long time. Now, after I listened to that speech, I started to reflect back on my life. And what I found is that I'm not scared to jump at all. I had already done it many other times in my life, and you're going to hear about a couple of those tonight. What I discovered was I was afraid of this jump. I was afraid of jumping towards my dream. In early 2001, I was working as a paramedic for an ambulance service, and I'd been in that line of work for about 8 years now, and I was miserable. The local fire department opened up a testing process, and after some nudging from some people on the department, I went ahead and applied. I initially told myself that I was doing it just for the experience, just to see what the testing process was like. But I soon found myself moving further and further along in the process. I passed the written test, the physical agility test, and the initial interview panel. And now I had now been invited back for the chief's interviews. I was shocked to have made it this far because nobody at the ambulance service where I worked had ever successfully, despite trying, made the transition from the ambulance service to the fire department. And with the chief's interviews as the final phase in the process, I felt that hesitation, that fear, that doubt. I had worked so hard to get where I was at the ambulance service. I was established. I'd worked my way up in the company. I was materials manager and I was a field training officer. I was safe and I was secure in that job. Taking a position with the fire department to me felt like I was taking a big step back. I was going to have to start all the way at the bottom again and work my way up. And I'd be taking a pay cut. I was standing on one of those cliffs of life, about to jump, and I didn't know if I should. So I did what any independent young man who had struck out on his own and didn't need help from anybody would do. I called my dad for help. Yeah. So after talking to my dad for a few minutes and explaining the situation, he asked me one very important question that changed my whole perspective on the situation. He said, Son, let me ask you something. Are you happy? No, I'm not happy at all. I'm miserable. Then why would you want to stay somewhere where you're not happy? Why would you want to stay somewhere that you're not happy? You see, it was my fear of change, my fear of leaving that safety and security that I had with the ambulance service, my fear of starting all over. It was my fear of those jagged rocks down below that almost blinded me from the wide open possibilities right in front of me. So many of us focus on what could go wrong, how we could fail. And in our minds, we create all kinds of reasons to help us justify why we're not taking action, why we should stay in that safety and security that we know, rather than going out into the unknown. And when we do that, we're sacrificing our potential happiness for comfortable mediocrity. That short little talk that I had with my dad shifted my focus. I realized that if I passed up this opportunity, I was sacrificing my own potential happiness for the safety and security I knew at that ambulance service. I passed the chief's interviews. I spent the next 11 years of my life serving the public. I was blessed with a very, very successful career at the fire department and even received the Chief's Commendation Awards one year. I jumped from that perfectly safe and secure job at the ambulance service, and my parachute opened. When it comes to your hopes, your dreams, your desires, what are you focused on? January 19th, yes, again, 2021 this time, 27 years after I jumped out of that perfectly good airplane. I was working as a shop manager and a welder for a friend of mine, and I had just loaded 8 20-foot sections of steel, on the commercial bandsaw, getting ready to cut them to length. I turned on the bandsaw. I heard a noise behind me. It sounded kind of like a door. I turned just briefly to see what it was. I had moved my hand just a tiny bit when I turned, just enough to catch that sharp spinning blade of the bandsaw with my thumb. And just like that, my life changed in a millisecond. I grabbed my thumb and squeezed as hard as I could to make sure I didn't bleed all over the floor. And yes, that really was the first thing that did run through my mind. I screamed at the top of my lungs, some words that I will not repeat here. And then I knelt on the floor in front of me and started to calm myself down. Now, everybody in the shop came running over, obviously, to see what happened. And they found me kneeling there on the floor, holding what I now call my stub nub. Now, I asked one of my coworkers, I was like, please call 911. I'm obviously going to need an ambulance. And he did. He called 911. He dialed the numbers. And that was about it. He was too freaked out to talk to 911. So I actually ended up talking to him. After that, I asked him to call my wife. Now, I knew the ambulance was on its way, and I'd calmed down quite a bit. So I calmly told her, honey, please don't freak out. Little tip, this is a terrible way to start a conversation. There's been an accident at work. Oh my God, what happened? Well, I just amputated half of my thumb on the bandsaw. Are you messing with me? Those were not her exact words. I like to play jokes on my wife. Earlier that year, I had taken a picture and I sent it to her. In that picture, I took my 4 fingers and I bent them over so all you could see was the knuckles. Then I put a dab of ketchup on each knuckle. I took a picture of that and I sent it to her with a text that said, tough day at work with the bandsaw, babe. No, baby, I'm not messing with you. Not this time. As I was wheeled into the back of that ambulance, I told those paramedics, I know this happened for a reason. I have no idea what that reason is, but I'm going to keep looking until I find it. About a month later, when I was healing up from surgery, I had made the decision that losing more fingers really didn't sound like something I wanted to do. So I started looking around just to see what else was out there. And I came across an ad for an off-road 4x4 tour company. That caught my attention. I love driving all sorts of vehicles. I'm good with people. And honestly, the job just sounded like a blast. I thought maybe it was time for me to get a job that's just plain fun and where I won't lose more fingers. Two problems with that though. Number one, I had never done any kind of tour guide work before. And number two, the job is mainly tip based. My wife is amazing. She stays home with our 3 kids and puts up with me. I go to work, we pay the bills, we put food on the table. Tips didn't really sound like a very safe and secure way of doing that. I did go and talk to the owner of the company, and even though he reassured me that I would make enough money, I still came back home hesitant and unsure if I should do anything, if I should take that job. I told my wife, it sounds like a blast, but I'm not sure we're going to make enough to pay the bills and put food on the table. She told me, I think you should do it. I got a good feeling about this. The last thing she had a feeling about was that something bad was going to happen at my last job. She even called me that day to make sure everything was okay. And at the time it was. I said, one of the guys went home sick, but other than that, everything's fine. The very next day, at about the same exact time, I chopped off half my thumb. So I figured out pretty quickly that listening to these feelings or premonitions she gets is a pretty good idea. But once again, here I was feeling the same hesitation, fear, and doubt. This jump carried a lot more risk because now I had a family that my decision would affect greatly if I failed. But I took that job. I took that job as a tour guide. I jumped once again, not even knowing if my parachute would open, not knowing if I would land on my feet or be torn up on those jagged rocks down below. I was standing again on one of the cliffs of life, excuse me. I was standing again on one of the cliffs of life about to jump. And I did jump, but in order to do that, I had to shift my focus from the pain of the moment to the possibility that this accident may actually hold within it a gift. July 18th of this year, I decided to jump off of a cliff that I've been standing on for the last 6.5 years, too afraid to jump, too focused on those rocks down below. This right here, what I'm doing now, is that jump I've been too afraid to make. And this is also that reason I told the paramedics that I would find. That accident led me to where I am today. And once I jumped out of that perfectly good airplane back in 1994, the experience and the excitement were indescribable. I felt as though I was floating, not falling. And at 5,000 feet, I pulled my ripcord and my parachute opened. And that parachute carried me safely to my goal of not being dead. But I also landed on my feet. Those other 2 jumps that I just told you about gave me the courage, the hope, the faith in myself that I finally needed in order to make this jump. Without those other 2 jumps, I wouldn't know what it feels like to free fall, to float, and to have my parachute open. Success requires being uncomfortable. It requires doing what doesn't feel natural, facing what you're afraid of, and taking steps where others would stand still, leaving that perfectly safe and secure life you have in order to find that beautiful, rewarding life that we all dream of. It's when you start to shift your focus from the impossibilities to the possibilities. Start to dream of your successes rather than focusing on the potential failures. It's when you stop focusing on those jagged rocks down below and focus on the vast, wide open possibilities and opportunities right in front of you that you're able to take that step. You're able to jump. And only then will your parachute truly open? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Have you jumped?
Wow, ladies, what did you think? Wasn't
Thank you.
it amazing? Cliff, it was beautiful. It was my second time hearing it, and it's even better than the first time. So thank you. So, ladies, do you have any questions for Cliff?
Thank you, everybody, for the comments that I'm getting. I really, really appreciate it. I'm very, very blessed to be here, very blessed to be where I'm at right now. So thank you so much for having me. Does anybody have any questions or
Okay,
comments or concerns or anything?
so Cliff, if there's any questions coming up in the chat, I will send the whole chat to you. So you will be able to see what everybody is saying, and also if there's any questions. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Oh, wow. Phenomenal.
Thank you so much, everybody, for having me here. I hope you all have a blessed night, day, wherever you're at. Love you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sanat.
Cliff,
This
just
is
hold
awesome.
on. Just hold on. We're going to take a photograph. Lauren and Laurie, please put on your cameras. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cliff. Have a beautiful day, and thank you for taking time off to come and talk to us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. Wow, that was amazing. Amazing. So, my beautiful, beautiful ladies, it is time for Wendy. Wendy, are you ready? Yeah.
I am. I'm unmuted and oh gosh, sorry, dropped my phone.
Okay.
There we go. I'm ready to rock and roll. So I've got a quick 5-minute session, ladies, and thank you all for being here. And I was just talking, the subject tonight's community and living in peace. And my big go-to place in this world is God's beautiful playground. Go into nature. When I'm feeling so stressed out, and I go into nature and I commune with her. And just to be, with nature, walking, feeling the sun on your back, the trees are swaying, you're hearing the birds in the trees, running water. For me, there's nothing quite as healing as being in nature. And many years ago, very briefly, I met with a native Red Indian, and he comes out to South Africa every 6 months. And he taught us about the Red Indians' ways when it comes to the earth. Their views are slightly different, but still they honor the earth and nature, which is God's creation. And it's just such a beautiful experience. And I just wanted to share that and remind everybody, especially when we're going through tough times, just to be outside in nature, feeling the sun on your shoulders. There's just absolutely nothing better than that for me. So that was very quick. And thank you so much. And on to the next person. Dankie, Sanet.
Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I really enjoyed. And sometimes, ladies, you cannot go into nature. But can I tell you a big secret? Use your imagination. Go to your favorite place. Go and smell what you need to smell there. Go and see what you need to see there. Even if you use your imagination, it will also help you if you cannot be in the real McCoy. I think that is a saying in South Africa. I'm not sure. Okay, yay! Okay, thank you so much, my beautiful Wendy. So now, Laura, I saw that you've got difficulties with your internet. So just want to say, Laura had her birthday last week with my sister on the 7th. And I know, Laura, it's your third time coming here, but you have inspired me with all the things that you have done with the horses, your animals, the way that you help other people. I was there, ladies and gentlemen, and Buck, her horse is just at the back of that play house. So I just want to say, Laura, thank you so much. And you know what inspired me? When you told adults that cannot hear the rules and regulations for shooting and self-defense. Because when you told that children of 10 years old is trying to explain to their parents what to do, it was like a big shock for me. And you took it on your shoulders to change everything. It was for me. You are incredible. So I'm going to give it all over to you, my beautiful Laura. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, hello everyone. I do apologize if I disappear. Our internet has been so bad and I'm so sorry. Also, Sine, I just want to let you know the chocolate that you gave me for my birthday was the best. It was chocolate from South Africa and it was the most delicious chocolate I've ever eaten in my life. The fact that you only gave me one bar offends me a little bit, but it's okay. I enjoyed it. I ate it slowly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do you know? Gentlemen, he's no gentleman. Sorry. Ladies, I gave her a top deck, a Cadbury's top deck. I sent her a Cadbury's top deck.
It was so good. It was so good. But anyways, let's talk about my little business. And does all the things that's required in America.
So, ladies, let me just see if she's coming back. Laura? Okay. So, ladies, while we wait for Laura, can I ask you, so this Laura recorded present and posted on the group. Thank you so much, Deborah. As soon as she comes back, I will do so. So, if I can ask you, this week our theme is community. Now, I know that there's a lot of you that have do different things for communities. I met somebody today that Dar have sent to the Diamond Beauties group. My beautiful Dar, I met Ruby today. She was so beautiful. And she also said to me that you have changed so many ladies' outlook on life and make them happy. So while we wait for Laura, I just want to quickly see if she's coming in. But hi, Laura. Laura? No, sorry, Laura. It sounds to me you underneath the water and you're trying to speak. I'm so sorry. Let's try again. No. So, Laura, what Deborah asked, if it's possible, if you can do for us a recording and then we can add it on to, oh, you are coming in with another link. Okay.
Okay, what about now?
Yes.
Okay, well, don't get used to it because it's just going to keep kicking me out. I'm sorry, guys. It's country living at its best. Okay, so let's try to get through this. So I was working as a sign language interpreter and I went to a medical assignment where a deaf man and I just struck up a conversation because that's what I do. I talk to my clients before we go into the assignment to establish communication. And we just started talking about guns. I love to shoot recreationally. He loves to shoot, and we were just talking. And we found what we have in common. We both have our license to carry. So in the state of Texas, which is in the United States, people would have to go through a class, get their licenses, and once you were licensed, you could carry your gun on you wherever you want to go in Texas, right? I mean, there's some places you can't take it. That's explained in the class, but you can carry your gun on you, on your person. And I said, wow, where did you take your class that provided an interpreter? Where'd you take that? And he said, oh, I didn't. My 7-year-old daughter, seven, not 10, 7-year-old daughter interpreted this legal class for me. And then he said to me, and this is what changed everything for me. He said, and this is what he signed, and he's signing because he's deaf. And he said, I didn't know that if you see two people fighting on the street, you can shoot them. And I said, I'm sorry, what? He goes, yeah, that's what the law says. That's what the law says. And I was like, let me be clear. That is absolutely not what the law says. The law doesn't say that at all. If two people are fighting and one is about to kill the other one, like they're on the brink of death, you can save a third party's life. The law does say that, but he was like, yeah, if people are fighting, you could just shoot at them, which was not the case. And that's what led me down this rabbit hole of who interpreted your class? Oh, your 7-year-old daughter could absolutely see how she interpreted, like, people fight, this person hurt, shoot them. So then I started doing some research and I realized that there is absolutely no access to firearms training in the state of Texas for deaf people. And several of my friends who did have their license, I asked them, how did you get through your class? And they said, well, the instructor would just point at the PowerPoint and have us read it. And you got to understand, like when we teach these license to carry classes, we're literally reading the law. What we do is we put the law on the PowerPoint, the legalese, that really hard to read legal crap, and then we stand and we talk about it. We break it down. What does it mean? You know what I mean? Deaf people in Texas weren't getting that. They were just read the law, but they weren't getting what it meant. So then I said, how hard is it to become an instructor? I did the research, I put in the work, paid the fee, went to Austin, which is the capital of the state of Texas, took a 1-week course, did the shooting proficiency for instructors. I became an instructor, and for several years, I traveled the state of Texas teaching classes in sign language to deaf people so that they had access to firearm training, appropriate and accessible firearm training in their first language. So that was really fulfilling for me. And then Sine, I don't know if I've updated you or not, but recently in this last legislative session, the Texas government did pass a law called constitutional carry. So what that means is now nobody has to have a license. Everybody can just carry their gun with no training or license whatsoever. I'm not really in favor of that. I don't love it. Do I think it's a great idea? No. Do I, as a woman who is very athletic and loves to run and go and do stuff, do I love having the right to carry my firearm on me? Absolutely. And I do a lot. In fact, I do every time I run, especially now. But I like that right. But do I think that we should just let everybody do it willy-nilly with no training and no understanding of what the law says? I don't think that at all. So unfortunately, the passage of that law did kind of put my little business out of business, because why are you going to pay to get a license, take a class?
Okay, we will just give her 1 minute to see if she's coming back, ladies. Okay. I'm so sorry, Laura. So, Dork, if I can quickly ask you, I also what I saw on when I went to visit you, you had your pool party and all your friends came over for your party. I never saw so many women that came for one person's birthday party. And I know you had a big birthday party, but I could see all the ladies that they really love you and the way that you talk to them. So can you just tell the ladies your community work? What is it what you're doing?
Oh, what a lovely question. I love the wonderful world of wacky women. I've always loved women and I love to mentor them. So I do that with prayer warrior women friends, and I do that with Bible study that I lead. And I guess that's pretty much just in friendships, in relationships in general. Just love on people and want to pray for them. And as the Lord leads me.
Oh, wow.
I got my Dolly here today from Colorado.
Oh, wow.
We've known each other for over 30 years. Yeah. And that's about it. Just loving on people like you, Sunit.
Thank you so much, my beautiful Dar. Deborah, if I can ask you, is there any community work that you do?
My community is the world because I live alone here in Newark, and everything I do is on the internet. So as I join group sessions and Dar, the Lord, he leads me every day. I do my devotional and I do, so I am right there with you. I just bring my heart to whatever I do. And I've been invited to so many groups, which I've had to limit my time because I still have to work. And I'm building new programs, but I'm loving my life. Unfortunately, I lost my husband in March, but what it did for me was put at rest his pain, but open up a new world that I have 24 hours to do what I choose to do now. And I'm launching a new podcast in the end of this year or the beginning of next year and I'm calling myself the Caregiving Entrepreneur, in which I want to interview other individuals who are building a business, yet they have to take care of their spouse or their parents. So it's that juggling out. How do you take care of yourself? So that would be my community outreach.
Wow, that is incredible. Thank you so much, Deborah. Laura, we can give it back to you. Are you okay? Okay, so I wanted to find out, Laura, if you could tell the ladies what is your forever song.
Reckless Love.
Okay, so ladies, I actually gonna see if I'm gonna put Laura on speaker's view. I don't know if you will be able to put her on speaker's view at your side. Go to the top hand corner to view, because Laura, will you sign your beautiful song to us, ladies? That is beautiful. So are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Alexa, play.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me.
Alexa, stop. I'm sorry, ladies. Deborah, I know that you also do sign language. I didn't even know that it was something. Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Hi.
so if any of you, can you let me know if you do any community work on your side? You need to come and tell us about your community, your podcast you're doing.
Good evening, Sanette and the beautiful Diamond Beauties. It's such a blessing to be here with you all. This is just a wonderful, wonderful appointment every week in my diary, and I always make it if I'm able to. But I do community upliftment through leadership development via my podcast named Meticulous Moments. So I thank God that I'm able to do that and that I'm able to sow into the lives of leaders so that we can build a strong society. Thank you, Sanette.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And then, ladies, I want to tell you what my community is. Next door neighbors, there's 9 families living there. And all 9 of them have children. All of them they're all from Zimbabwe. So their mothers and fathers cannot speak Afrikaans. The children are going to school and they have to speak 2 languages. They speak English and they have Afrikaans classes. So on a weekly basis, I am giving Afrikaans classes to the children next door. So I also greet them every day. If I see them, I greet them. I ask them questions. And the other day, the little one said to me, Auntie Sunshine, they call me Auntie Sunshine. Auntie Sunshine, we so happy you back from America. I said, no, you must tell me in Afrikaans. He said to me, I'm going to say it what he said and then I'm going to translate it. He said, ek is so bly of America. But he didn't even put all the sentences in. He was just so happy that I was there. And I said to him, thank you, Leroy. So, how's your Afrikaans? He said to me, Auntie Sunshine, now I'm going to pass because you are here. So I normally take and go and make papers and then have crosswords or words they have to fill in, make it real easy for them. But I also have to go onto Google and see what can I do for, because they've got from age 12 to age 7 that I give different papers for them to learn Afrikaans. So they all can greet me, they all can tell me a little bit of a story, so I'm very proud of them. So, let me just quickly unmute. So ladies, I know today's session was a little bit with Laura's in and out, but still there is still so much that we can talk about. The first thing I wanted to say is, I know that there's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of things, especially here in South Africa. The power is a big...
You have 2 stock quotes capsules. If you want to use CNBC or sprinkle it.
I didn't have time to take my phone outside because she keeps on telling me something. There's a lot of things going on in South Africa as there's a lot of power problems we call load shedding. So today we will have 3 times. It will be in total 8 hours that we don't have power. But for that, there is also family things and people that are, women that are going on to new adventure. And if we can just stick to it together and just make us all out, if there's something that somebody wants to ask, or if there's something that you wanted to do, just do it. I was very scared this weekend. I had to do my avatar presentation, and when the power keeps on going off, I had only a window of 3 hours to do my presentation. So it was a one take. And I must say, I was very nervous. And my camera, my son couldn't get my camera right. And I was like very nervous. I went and made coffee for myself. And I actually went into the front while he was busy here. And I pray. I said to God, I have only a window of 3 hours. Please help me for this presentation because I have to send it to this lady. And I got this feeling of everything is going to be okay. And then, my beautiful ladies, as I mentioned before we started, I went into my imagination mode. I was thinking in 3D. I used my smell, everything. And I was seeing so many people in front of me. I was like doing my speech, and guess what, ladies? When I was ready after, it took me 8 minutes because my son called me. He said, "Ma, you ready? You can come." So I actually, everything was set up with the lights, and then I came in. I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Sanette from Breda." And I want to say heeded, and I want to call her name, but I cannot call her name now, otherwise she's going to play. And she didn't play. And my son said to me, "Ma, you have to call her name first and ask her to play." But ladies, I burst out of laughter because I think I was too stressed. And then everything after my laughter was okay. So I started again, put the recording on, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen," I ran onto the stage and I shouted at her. I said, "Play," and she played Walking on Sunshine. I had a hat on. I had a black dress on, but I didn't have any shoes on. I didn't want to have shoes on. I was dancing and everything. And I even saw a twin because I said to the audience, nobody is the same. Just as our fingerprints, we are all unique. Even an identical twin is not the same. And then my imagination saw here in the corner of my room 2 twins, and I said to them, "And like you." So the lady phoned me 2 hours before the session to say, "Sanette, your presentation is approved." I have done it on Saturday morning. So from Saturday till 2 hours ago, I didn't move the room because I was scared. I need to redo it. But she phoned me. She said, "Sanette, everybody on the panel loved your presentation. And now they must get a twin avatar because you saw the twin avatar in the audience." So when she said that, she said they cried, they laughed, they really just enjoy my presentation. So ladies, I never did this before in my whole life. And yes, I was scared. And with all the difficulties, and there was only one take, I knew I had to get power from above because I knew I cannot do it by myself. So when I asked her to stop and play again, and the presentation was finished, I was over the moon. I even took my dress up like, in the olden days when you go like this. You took the dress and you go like this. So I said to the ladies and gentlemen, "May I ask for this dance?" And she said, "And Sanette, at the end, when you say, 'May I have this dance?'" everybody's mouth went open. I cannot believe I'm the only person from Africa that is part of this end of September 50 speakers that's going to speak, and you're going to look like a hologram and an avatar. And I was the only one with a hat and barefoot. And I ask the ladies and gentlemen, may you have a dance with me? She said on Zoom, some of the people stand up and started to dance on my Walking on Sunshine. So ladies, I had such a ball. But if it was not for God and the angels, I knew I cannot do it by myself. So, ladies, I know Laura is not here. Sorry, Lauren. Laura is not here. But we're still going to dance out with her song. Are you ready? Are you ready to have a dance with me? Yes, sorry. Yes, sorry. Oh, you know my sorry.
Recording.
I love you. I love you. Let me just quickly stop the recording. Just hold on for me. Recordings.